Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Live a Phenomenal Life Show with me, your host, Madame Merola. That shows up every Monday, 12 noon GMT plus one time. So it's great to be here on the 2nd of August, and woohoo! We have made it into the 8th month of the year. Wow, wow, wow. Doesn't it seem like just yesterday? We started January and we're in August already. Time waits for no man, really, right? So, wow, if you are still procrastinating on your dream, if you're still in the excuses lane, you are still planning and you have not started executing, well, you can see it's already the 8th month, and therefore you got to get going because your time is going faster and faster by the day. So it's great to be here to ensure that you are inspired, empowered, and transformed one show at a time. My name is days. No excuses. God's masterpiece in you. And I have a phenomenal guest joining me in the studio today. Her name is Titi Ojo, and she is going to help me to delve into the topic of today, which is all about the power of public speaking. Yes, I'm talking about that to you. Yes, you that you've been running away from doing lives, from talking on stages, from showing up in front of people. They have all manners of excuses in the world to say, no, I can't speak in front of people. I can't do this. It's not meant for me. I don't need to be a public speaker. Yada, 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 yada. Every kind of excuse under the sun that you can think about. You have been given those excuses for years as to why you should not be a public speaker and why you don't like being a public speaker. And today, Titi and I are going to talk to you about it and tell you why you need to harness the power of public speaking, because it probably is one of the things that you're lacking that is going to help you to leapfrog ahead in your career path, and also maybe to be able to showcase you more as an expert in what you do. So I hope you guys are ready because it's going to be hot. We are not going to spare you guys any punches today because many of you have been dwelling on this mountain of hiding for way too long, and it's time for you to get out of that hiding zone and come out to the limelight and start to speak about what you're passionate about, what you've been called to do, what you're an expert at, and also to be able to reach out to way more people than you've been able to impact because you refuse to learn how to master the art and science of public speaking. So that's what I got for you today. I don't know about you, but I am excited. This is one of my favorite topics. So yes, it's going to be great. Titi's already in the back studio. She's looking all lovely and ready for you guys. So, without wasting much time, let me get to read her bio and then I will bring her on soon. But before we do that, I always ask you, what is your one word for this week? So, I can see people are coming on, and I'm starting a teaching on public speaking. Sincerely, it's very important in anything you want to achieve in life. Absolutely. That is from Gwendolyn Oshoni. That's Lady Gwen. I totally agree with you. Very important. So public speaking is not something that we can afford to take lightly. It's not only for people that are public figures. I believe that everybody should learn how to master the art of public speaking. We all don't do it as well as each other, but that's not the case. The case is that everyone can still manage to be proficient at it for it to be able to harness and benefit their career. So she's got another comment. And yes, this one is a killer show because of the topic. Loving it already. Let's go. Yeah, fire go. We are ready to go as well. So let me, while I'm getting Titi's bio ready, I want you guys to start to type for me on the screen your one word for the week. Okay, very important. As we always say, it's good for you to have something that your expectations are going to be linked forwards. Okay, so if you have that, then you would be able to ask yourself, how are you planning and also taking initiative and action to ensure that your one word for the week is becoming a reality? So for mine is acceleration, acceleration in my career, acceleration in different things. So I'm going to accelerate some certain things that I'm doing. I'm going to make sure that I do a bit more of some things that would aid me to be able to accelerate in my chosen career, in my work, in whatever I'm doing as Madame Merola. That is my word. So, Jumoke Bodelawa, welcome, ma'am. Pastor Jumoke, her word for the week is ignite. I love it. And you are an igniter already, and I'm sure you're going to ignite more lives this week intentionally. So, God bless you for sharing that, Pastor Jumoke. So, let me read you guys Titi's bio. Titi is heavily loaded. So there we go. All right. So in case you don't know who Titi is, let me put up a picture of her so that you can be looking at her face before I bring her up on screen. She's always smiling like me. So there we go. That's Titi's picture. So Titi Ojo is a business consultant and SME development practitioner with professional experiences spanning information technology, enterprise development, training and capacity building, project management, strategic leadership, and international development. In 2014, she was awarded the Humbert Humphrey Fellowship in recognition for her contributions in leadership and public service by the US government. She completed a 1 year of professional development as a Fulbright Scholar of Cornell University, New York, in international agriculture and rural development. Titi has contributed to national development in several capacities. Titi is passionate about quality and through her work continues to build the capacity of SMEs to compete favorably in international markets through improved quality standards. Titi is a business coach, the founder of the Idea Factory, a monthly mentoring program for business startups and young people who seek profitable ways of expressing their business talent. The Idea Factory is a platform that enables business ideas to become reality through co creation and mentoring. Titi is passionate about social entrepreneurship and community development and has organized several programs and projects through her work. She is a seasoned communicator and leader, a distinguished Toastmaster, having attained the highest qualification in Toastmasters International. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to bring on screen Titi Ojo.
Hello, Madame Merola.
Hi,
Wow,
welcome,
wow, wow.
welcome,
I've been looking forward
welcome.
to this, and I'm here now. So, thumbs up to you. This is great.
Yes.
This is great. Yes. I'm glad to be
Great to
here.
have you. Great to have
Yes,
you
it
here on the show
is.
with us. Thank you
It
so much.
is.
So, how are you feeling today, sister?
I feel great because I'm here to talk about a topic that I love so much. That's public speaking. So it excites me, anytime anybody calls me up, come and talk to us about public speaking. It's like, I can't even sleep. I'm even sleeping and I'm dreaming of the session already.
I
So
can
I'm here right
imagine.
now. And of course, with you on the show, Madame Merola, you're such a phenomenal woman. And having this show with you today, really, it's special to me. It's absolutely special. So let's dive in. Come on.
Yes, thank you so much. So
Right.
I was asking the audience before you came on that what is that one word for the week? So I want to ask you the same question. That what is that one word that is going to be like your mantra to remind you of what you want to achieve this week?
This morning, I got up thinking of this word speed, speed, speed. That was very important to me. Of course, there are quite a number of things I'm also doing, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta, don't delay, don't drag. Speed is important to everything in life. So this week, really, the key word for me is speed, speed, and that's gonna
Wow.
guide everything I'm gonna do.
Isn't that amazing? You know, I said my one word was acceleration and you said speed, and they
Ah,
basically
that's
mean the
true.
same thing. And they mean exactly the same thing. So I just said,
Exactly.
sometimes, it's just amazing how the spirit can guide people to do
Mm,
exactly the same thing and we don't even
exactly.
know it. And then when someone just talks to me
Mm,
like, and the spirit told you to also, accelerate and speed up on things because sometimes
yes.
we tend to rest on our laurels and we tend to get a little bit
Mm,
lazy and complacent. So,
that's so
sometimes the
true.
Holy Spirit needs to
That's so
nudge us
true.
and tell us that, sister, you need to get moving. As a time and waiting for you, you got to
Oh
move on
yeah,
some
you
of
got
these
that
things.
right.
There is always like a set time for some certain things. So I always
Oh
tell people that
yes.
it's not like you can't do some things at any time, but there is a
Mm,
time, a window of opportunity for some things that when it's
exactly.
hot, when it's the time that it will really strike
Mm,
really heavily into other people's heart, and if you miss that window, you might end up like, being a bit upset with yourself
cry
later to
for
say
it.
that, oh, why was I
Cry
dilly
for it.
dally when I should have done this?
Exactly. There's a time for everything, and there's a timing as well. It's important not to miss it. That's
Hmm.
important. Yeah.
Yes, and that's why we're here to inspire, empower, and transform lives and tell people that, hey, you know what? It's great to have all these ideas. It's great to be able to be phenomenal and have all the skills. But if you're not utilizing them, if you're not putting yourself out
Mm,
there, if you're not taking action, you know how many people they just like,
mm,
they have brilliant ideas, they have all the skill sets, but they're not taking action. They're not doing what they need to do. And then they wonder why they're not
mm,
getting the results they ought to get just because of that one singular thing, action, which is what Gwendolyn Lady Oshoni said. That action, taking action on some of these
mm.
brilliant ideas that we have is so important. So it's time for us to share the affirmations of
Absolutely.
the day before we move on. So I'm here shuffling some of the cards, and then I'm going to select five, and then we are going to get started. So the first one says, my business and career is thriving and rewarding.
Mm,
I love what I do and I excel at my work. I have excellent work ethics. Woohoo! I
mm,
love
mm.
that one.
That's good. I like that too.
Phenomenal. Yes. The second one says, oh my gosh, this was a great cards for today. In life, all things happen for my highest good. I am a fast learner and make all experiences work for me. I
Mm,
learn the valuable lessons life offers me to grow. Yes, yes,
mm,
yes.
mm, mm,
Yes. I love that. The next one says, I am totally in sync with life. I am passionate about my life. I am free from pain, anxiety, and stress.
mm,
Optimal wellness is the natural state of being for me.
mm.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
I love it. Next card says, I am confident in myself. Confidence is in me. I constantly build my confidence level and go out to rule my world. I
Mm,
have confidence to be 100% me. Yay! And the final card is going to be a good one, and it is, I know my true worth. I
mm.
deserve the best in all spheres of life. I
Wow.
refuse to settle for a mediocre life,
Mm,
and I
mm.
constantly receive the best from life.
Whoa.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Powerful. I love them.
That's great. I love that. I love that.
Okay, so Titi, it's your turn to share with us your affirmations of the day.
Okay, I am a product of grace. I can do all things to Christ that strengthens me. I
Come
sow
on
good
now.
seeds and I reap a mighty harvest. I believe in the power of the spoken word. Therefore, I speak and I impact my world. I am nothing short of excellent.
I
That's my
love
those are my
that. I
words
love
of
that.
affirmation.
Woohoo! I am nothing short of excellence. Yes,
That's
yes,
it. That's
yes.
it.
I love it. I am a product of grace. I say it every
Mm,
single day that
oh
I am
yeah.
nothing without the God, that I am a
Mm,
God-made
mm,
woman. I'm not a self-made
right.
woman. I
Mm,
cannot but help to acknowledge everyone that has played a key role, whether it's a minute
yes.
role in my life to get me to be where I
Mm,
am today. And it is because of God that He has put them all in my
mm,
life. So I appreciate
mm.
every single person that has come
Oh
into
yeah.
my life to get me to where I am today. So I am a product of grace.
Of
Yes,
grace.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Woohoo! Awesome. Okay.
Right. Mm-mm.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to have Titi Ojo on the set with us today on Live a Phenomenal Life Show. And our topic for today is the power of public speaking. But before we dive into that topic, it would be nice for us to be able to know a little bit more about Titi Ojo beyond what her bio shares with us. So, Titi, I've known you for quite a while, but I would like you to share with the audience as to what exactly has happened in your life to get you to this point where you do what you do now? Because you've transitioned from different kinds of
Mm,
professional careers and stuff.
right.
So what is it that's made you to become a business consultant and a toastmaster above everything else that you could have chosen to do in life? Why did you choose this
Why
particular? What
not?
got you here? What got you here?
Okay, let me start from what year now? Now, being a business consultant, I started my career as an IT professional. Actually, my first degree was electrical engineering, and then I was the first 7 years of my career. Really, I was more into computing. I enjoyed fixing computers. Dear Lord, I loved it. And I see myself as a solution provider. So it's like someone gives me this computer and says something is wrong with it. Just give me a few hours. I'll come back for it. It's working. So I just things must work. That's it seems like something I value. Anything comes my way, it must just work. That's what it is. So even when I was doing the IT, I was in the IT sector for that period. Anything, any computer. Somebody brought a dead computer that had been dead for 1 year and I raised it up. The computer I raised that computer from the dead. The guy could not
Come on
even
now.
believe it. And I told him, I said, I do everything to make sure that I provide a solution to that problem. And I woke up that night to fix it. And 4 hours, I gave myself 4 hours, and that thing was working. That computer was working. So that has been a personal thing. Anything that comes my way, I find solutions for them. And of course, as I moved on in my career, I got working at an enterprise agency. And I started also enjoying the business environment, working with small businesses. I am a people person and I love to solve problems for people. And in this
Hmm.
case, I'm in a business environment. Somehow, I happen to solve almost all the problems of every SME sitting at my table. And then the organization is like, wow, this lady just seems to have so many skills. She's even solving business problems. I'm like, yeah, I just enjoy it. I enjoy it. And somehow I kind of dove into enterprise development. And it seems like the best of my life just unfolded. I tell you, that decision to even move me up there was one of the decisions of what my MD then. And I still tell her that I'm grateful for that decision because as I started working with people the more, solving their business problems, and just doing this consistently, I found some kind of joy I just never experienced before. And this is about people. So anything about people, I now realize that really, I think God sent me to people ultimately. And when you solve business problems, it's about people. It's about people. People build
That's right.
businesses. People build systems. Of course, I love that part so well. And then came the communication part. Now, I was rising in my career, of course. And I realized that I can't just be a backbencher anymore. I can't just sit
Hmm.
in the office and I was getting really good at what I was doing and people wanted to hear me speak. I was holding a managerial position and it got to a stage where I was told you need to go and talk about this. I go for events, I'm representing my MD. I'm like, yeah, Titi, now you need to get this public speaking thing right because of course I love excellence, isn't it? And each time I step out, I must step out excellently. I must speak and people remember me. I must communicate a message that keeps people coming back for more. So I started thirsting for being better at public speaking. In fact, that's how I found Toastmasters. And Toastmasters was very fresh. It hadn't even started in Abuja. So I was just doing my
Okay.
search and I found that there was a club in Lagos. I sent an email, routed me through someone to someone here in Abuja, late engineer Cargo, and we're just going to start up their first meeting. I was in that first meeting. And here I am, 11 years, and I'm still there. 11 years of Toastmaster, and I'm still there. And as I moved on as well in Toastmasters and relating my experiences with other people, I also started seeing gaps. Is there any way I could help this person to be better at speaking, the public speaking? I MC some events as well, and you see someone come to develop and deliver a paper, and it's so boring. For me, it's like a
Hmm.
sin. Huh? Why would you punish you punish the entire audience with your 1 hour of God knows, and we're all just hoping that you get out of the stage. You said something earlier that someone will tell you, I don't really like public speaking. My dear, as you move on in your career, you'll be in the spotlight someday. Something will force you to be in that spotlight. You'll be somewhere
That's
talking
right.
to some people. You had better be prepared for it. Each time I see those gaps, I'm like, okay, it looks like there's a calling in this direction as well. I have people I have to help to get them speaking very well. And so I just
Hmm.
started all of that. It became a passion as well. And of course, some people might have Googled me and seen I do programs on public speaking because it's very important. Even in government, You see
Yeah.
directors, they're representing their DG and they messed the whole thing up. And I'm sitting on my table there. I'm like, oh my God, who sent this guy? So those gaps, very critical for me to feel. I'm a natural trainer. I thrive a lot when it comes to learning and development. Oh, that's, in fact, I feel that defines what I do in whatever field I find myself. Learning and development, teaching people, helping them to develop their capacity to be better at what they're doing, whether in agriculture, in export, in my public speaking, small business. It's really about developing the capacity of people and their entities to become better,
Hmm.
outside there. So that's really important to me. I think that kind of sums it up somehow. Maybe, yeah,
Fantastic.
I think that sums it up,
It
yes.
did. You did a great job, and it's so interesting to know that sometimes, when we're talking to people about finding the purpose, finding where to be able to pitch their tent in terms of niching out where they are service providers, many of us tend to go into areas where we see so much missing, or it's like a pain point for us
Mm,
as to why are these people not doing this well. So for like me, I always tell people that mine was born out of the fact that I saw a lot of entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, that
mm,
were like CEOs and bosses. They were not showing up well in a way that represented them. They could not
mm,
speak or communicate their ideas in a way that made sense and was articulate enough for us to be able to gain clarity about what they were doing. And of course,
mm.
this issue of people speaking in such a diatribe that is so boring, and
Right.
they have all these fillers, and people just speak really badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I've got to do something about it, because we tend to take what we do well for granted sometimes, and then we don't realize that it's not easy for everybody else. So it's our
That's
job to
it.
help them to transition
Mm.
from that level where they are now to another level where they can become more proficient. And that is the reason why we're here today, to talk about the power of public speaking. So, in your own words, what would you define public speaking to mean? Because we hear that word be thrown around, public speaking, and many people are even confused about it, because they'll be like, "No, I'm not a public speaker. I don't want to be a public speaker." And I have a way of defining it for people, but I want to hear what is your definition of public speaking.
All right, so my definition is you become a public speaker the moment you are speaking to less of what the audience is. It might be an audience of two, 100, 1,000. As long as you have an audience and the audience is there to say, then you're speaking in public. It doesn't have to be a live audience. Or I'm speaking online, so it's not that
Mm-hmm.
you're person. I can't touch Madame Merola right now, but she's right on my screen. So it could even be virtual. In fact, we even these days than we did in the past. So you can have your audience sitting right in front of you on the stage, and it could be virtual. It could be a you know. It, of course, that voice note is. Now you notice that lately, when we have when they cannot travel down, they're sending videos, they're sending voice notes, are played at events there. But those voice notes, those videos, those recordings to an audience, you are already a public. It's important to note this because from your audience each time you stand out to speak, and that needs to also be. It should be given the wires. It's not just is. If I'm talking to Tammy, for example, I could say anything. I could even use whatever words as it comes. But now you have an audience that's listening, very, very intentional about speaking. And let me also public speaking. Of course, I mentioned that earlier. In fact, it all starts from there. Who am I going to? Who am I going to speak in with? Now, Merola had said something that some of us are afraid. We're like, oh, I can't speak to anyone. No. But trust me, life will throw age. How do you get that message without feeling guilty? That's where we're heading to with this public speaking. Recently, yes, somebody asked me that question. Doing the right thing. The rubbish. Saying about being prepared, preparation. So much to public speaking. There's so much to it. But let me as you're speaking to any audience, whether an audience of 2, 300, 1,000, 1,000,000, then you are engaging in public speaking.
Awesome. I love your definition. And it's so similar to mine because I always say that public speaking is when you are interacting or communicating with two or more people to be able to influence, to be able to
Mm,
impact, or to be able to persuade them to do something. So I always say
right.
that. I always tell my children that just the fact that I'm even talking to them, I'm already a public speaker because sometimes I am talking to them to impact them, to influence them. So when people come to me and
Yes.
say that, oh, I'm not a public speaker, I say, okay, do you speak to your colleagues in the office? They say, yes, ma'am. I said, do
Mm,
you go to the market and then there's sometimes some people are gathered and you're talking to some certain
mm,
people, or you're in your church or in your mosque and you're having a conversation? I said, so, sir or ma'am, you're already a public speaker. So public
ready
speaking is not until
there.
they hand you a microphone or you stand on the podium or
Yeah.
they
Mm,
announce you. I said, the minute you communicate, you are having a conversation with other people and you want to impact them, you want to influence them, you want to persuade them.
mm,
I said, you're already a public speaker. So now we always
exactly.
have this argument where people say some people are just born to be public speakers and
Mm,
that we are not born public speakers. So we have zero business being public speakers. And I'm like, okay. So I said, we're going to discuss it today. That are public speakers
right.
born or are they made? As in, can are there truly people that are born to be public speakers? And are there people that feel like in this lifetime, forget it. They can never make it as public.
Yeah. So this is quite interesting. Nobody was born when your parents gave back to you. They didn't just look at you and said, "This will be a public speaker." I know that life itself, the experiences we have through life to know what we're really good at, experiences. So yes, there are those that are natural to a good extent. There's two things called nature and nurture. So natural with it, yes, but speaking also requires some professionalism. So even if you're natural with it, you might need to brush up some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to understand the different aspects of speaking to yourself better. Okay, and there's a part of I have. Okay, so some of us, I wanted to mention dogs. So let me use her as an example. And recently, my husband was talking about her that we knew the doctor had this gift of speaking until we got. He's always known his wife, but he never really got to see that part. Then opportunities started coming. And then she was like, wow, I had to come and speak for 1 hour. Really? You mean so this person? So really, I think she's a natural. She's a bit of a natural. She's even mentioned that in her family, her grandfather was an orator. And like I said, some could naturally pick up those things. Was this a great speaker? You've attended his session. Somehow it just gets to you, and also you can. But of course, that's the raw material. It's like the crude oil in the ground. It's crude oil, but when we start processing it, we start seeing petroleum, fine
That's right.
products. So some people can actually be natural. There's something that needs to now polish them a bit more, and they can move good to being great. Okay, that are natural. There needs to be a process that moves them from being great, and that helps them to also understand the rudiment, apply themselves even better in the place of speaking. Sure. Yes, I know some don't even want to speak. When I grew up, okay, in my growing years, I'll just jump in front of an audience and I want to speak. But I was a very cheerful child. Friends, my parents' friends would say it. So when they come to the house, I'm the one that will run to the door to open the door. If they want the house, I would offer myself to take them to another neighbor's house. I was just that kind of person. But I was still shy. I went through school. If anybody would ask questions in class, it wouldn't be me. No way. I wouldn't raise my hands up. But as I moved on, yeah, I grew at a rate where I felt, well, it's now time for me to really understand this public speaking, and be able to use it to my advantage. Now, when you get to a stage where you're professional, everything about you needs to be professional, even your speaking engagements. You can't afford to be good within the office, and when you're told to go and talk about such, you become a failure on the stage at the lectern. No. So I got to that stage as well, a stage of realization of the potential I had and what I had on my to be communicated to the world. And I also realized that if I needed to, I needed to do it right. And of course, I've been speaking for a while, even before I joined Toastmasters anyway. And people would tell, this is great. I'm like, no, I've and I'm not yet there. So I need to take that step further speaking abilities. So some of us, we had to nurture it. We had to nurture it through association,
Mm.
because I remember I attended an oratory school then as well. We had to nurture it. So some are born, the skills there, and I never saw it. But when I nurtured, when I went on this on the path of nurturing, great, that was it. So there's nature here. Some people might just be natural. In fact, is this? There's something called, it's something you and you can just accidentally stumble on the same thing. They're two different things. Went to school to learn a particular skill and found himself in that environment. The two of them will be different, no matter what. I won't tell you the science behind what he's doing. He can tell you the rudiments, can tell you the learned. He has actually gone ahead. Whereas this other guy that's just every day free, he won't be able to put all he's doing into those boxes that went to to be taught about it will tell you. But really, I think learning just moves us from being good to great, and that's excellent. Let's always take an opportunity. And so if you're in an environment where whenever one that will tell you how you did, how you performed, that process also helps you to move from being just somebody to be reckoned with on the public space. Yes, I believe in the nature and the nurture as a part in there, but I think ultimately nurture really is. Even if decides to nurture that natural skill, so we all need that stage of nurture, stage that I think I've been see the difference.
Okay. Hello, Titi.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I lost your feed a little bit. I totally agree with
Okay.
you about what you've just said because of the fact that I probably fall into the category of a natural speaker. But I always tell people because every time they ask me, "Oh, Madame Merola, how can I become a better speaker?" I said, "Just start speaking." And then they always say, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes." I was like, I also had to nurture my natural gift as a speaker because of the fact that there is nothing that is given to us that cannot be amplified, that cannot
Oh,
be improved
yes.
upon. So, is this natural state whereby many people, I said, rice comes in its raw state, but you cannot eat it in its
Mm-hmm.
raw state. It's not edible. Even though
No.
you desire
Right.
rice, you cannot eat it unless you cook it. And I said, so many of us need to cook
To
our
be
gift
cooked.
to become more palatable, to become more nutritious, to become more
Yes.
delicious. And then
Ex-
what makes it interesting is the spices that we add to the elements of whatever we have.
mm,
So that is what also differentiates us because you are a public speaker. I'm a public speaker. Aneka that is watching is a public speaker. Gwendolyn is a public speaker. But then when we all step on the stage and we're given exactly the same materials to deliver, we all will do
right.
it differently because of the fact that we all bring our elements of our unique spices to what we do. So I do believe that, yes, some people are probably born with the latent giftings, but then even that person
Mm,
can also not be one of the best public speakers if they don't nurture the gift that is within them. So that's
yes.
why I believe the nurturing part is the most important part because no
Is
matter how much of a latent gift you're giving, if you don't develop it, if you don't continue to invest in it, if you don't keep on polishing it and using it, most importantly, is that using it, you will find yourself not getting better at it. Too many of us have gifts that we do not utilize. And therefore, we're just average at it because other people are outworking us by constantly developing that same skill. So even though they didn't have the natural gifting, they have continually worked on it, and are still working on it. And
right.
therefore,
Right.
better result than those that have the natural talent. That's why they say talent is not enough. So even if you're a naturally
Mm.
gifted speaker, you still need to nurture it to make sure that you keep on elevating your game. So, what are some of the benefits that people can derive by becoming a better public speaker? So, can you share some of the benefits with us as to what do you gain by just actually utilizing that gift of being a public speaker? You're mute. You've muted. You've muted.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my earpiece suddenly. But can you hear me clearer now? Is it
Yeah,
clear?
because some people are saying, is it is it her network? Because I was gonna say, I think it's your end that is a bit
Okay.
okay. So
Okay. I removed my earpiece. I guess I'm a bit uncomfortable wearing it. So,
no problem.
so if you can hear me now, that's great.
Much better.
Okay. Right. So the benefits. Ah, the benefits are enormous. Trust me. I let me share my own personal experiences here. I think my very first public speaking engagement, one of when I was at the agency, was even I had to speak on radio, and probably that was my first time.
Hmm.
We were looking for someone to go on hair, and I felt so confident about it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And of course, one or two people that heard that particular interview were very senior people in this government in Abuja. They actually came back to my MD and came with glowing words. Like, who is that staff? In fact, someone came to see me right in my office. Like, who is the person that just left the radio station? Now, if you're good at public speaking, it gives you, number one, it builds respect for you. Like people just begin to respect you because you have a message. Now, let me say that anytime you stand there to speak, there must be a message. It's very important because really, public speaking, if you're not prepared, might also marry you. So think of it. Public speaking opportunities might make or marry you. So don't forget that as well. I'm speaking right now, and I remember one Indian lady that came to present a paper at the Hilton, and I was the MC at that event. She left everybody in really bad taste because she was just writing to her into the document. She was reading line for line. She was not looking at us. It was flat. It was boring. And everybody kept saying, Titi, go and stop that woman. Go and stop that woman. And I kept giving her, do you know, I gave her signs like 3 or 4 times. At some point, I even said 0 minutes left. Can you imagine 0 minutes? And she was still there for another 10 minutes after zero. And everybody was like, my God, you could hear the murmuring in the hall. So really, public speaking could make or marry you, okay? But let me just tell you how it can make you. Prepare. Always make sure you're prepared. Have a message. Your speech should. I think there are 4 elements I would say that should be in every public speech. And one is you need to educate people through your speeches. Your speeches should educate, entertain. That's another thing. Your speech should be entertaining, should be educating, should be inspiring, and should persuade. There must be some persuasion, some call to action in anytime you have the opportunity to go forward. When you prepare your speech, you're looking through those elements. I'm like, okay, is there information I'm giving to this people? Am I informing them? That's the education part. Is that information? So if you're someone that each time you stand there to speak, people go away with something new, something fresh. My dear, they want to listen to you the next time. They see your face on the flyer, like, man, this lady is speaking there. They want to be there because they know that each time they sit under the sound of your voice, they're going back empowered. They're going back informed. They go back inspired. And of course, you persuade them to do something that when they're even doing it, long after your speech is over and they're
Hmm.
achieving stuff, they look back and like, wow, thank God I attended this, I was there to listen to this person. So public speaking puts you in really good light if you get it right. Many people have gotten promotions because they could speak in organizations. Trust me, when it comes to speaking, your boss or your partner or whatever, they will not put forward someone that will not put them in good light. No way. So I've seen organizations where it's even junior staff that will put forward to go and speak on behalf of the organization. And it's because they've seen that that person has that skill. And people like that, they grow very fast. They succeed very fast. They grow fast because their role now becomes strategic to the organization. And because of that, someone just pulls them up and say, let's make this person the head of our communications because he's doing it well. So that's important. And another thing, as a public speaker, you have a message. You have a message. And this is a way you can also build your brand. Public speaking can help you build your brand in the area of your strength. So now, when I talk about message, I'm saying, what are the things you talk about? What are the things to talk about? So if you consistently talk, okay, so Madame Merola does the show, Live a Phenomenal Life. Now, and she's engaged in public speaking, making people live a phenomenal life. And that's a message that is ringing every now and then. When you think of Madame Merola, you're thinking of living a phenomenal life. So what's your message? As a public speaker, what's the message? And when people hear you, they know, okay, when it comes to healthy living, this is a voice in healthy living. And you see opportunities will come. So I'm just listening to you one day talking about healthy living in such a way that I wouldn't have forgotten it. And then an opportunity comes. It's like, yeah, there's this person. He's always talking about healthy living. Do you know that people that give you opportunities that may not even be necessarily people that have worked with you before? It's just because they've
Okay.
heard you speak somewhere. They've heard you speak somewhere and they just want you to be the one that will get the opportunity because you've done it well. So opportunities will open up to you if you are good with public speaking. And that's why I always say put your best foot forward at all times. Have a message. You can have a channel and you continue to speak about that one thing. You can talk about projects, you can talk about project development, you can talk about leadership, but have a message, be that voice, and let that voice be impactful. Because really, you leave people with, like now with something in my mind. I would take the Indian woman I said that everything from her paper and we were this event happened like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you know. I've not forgotten because of how she made us feel. Made us feel like my God doesn't care to come and just sleep. Our speech was a lullaby. So, 4 years running, I still remember her. Yes, when you're done, it rings in their head, even for years. The opportunities, they remember you very even search for you years after. They'll send you a personal message. Talk to us here. Something. Can you come and speak to the that message of leadership? Can you so really if you do that coming your way, expansion will come. It is you never even sought for you. It's very important. And most important, getting your essence. People will begin to know through the words you speak, through the amazing when someone is even talking and they're saying some things about you, they'll come back and tell you, you're like, really? Because they've seen you express that, and they can just define you as someone as of the way you speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can keep going on, I can keep tell you, but there's so many benefits. If you're good at speaking in public, stage communicating your essence, being assertive of who you even I tell you, people would respect it can take you anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't even think of local Nigeria. Abroad, India. There's so many things like in the US who say, I think I want this lady to come and talk. You'll be shocked because I'm in such a global village anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Watching. Note that everyone, all right? So always put your best foot forward, open and some of us career, it just opened the doors to real big stuff. I couldn't believe it. But that was it. That was opened a lot of doors for me. There's so much to say about this. So thanks. I move to the next thing.
Yeah, sure. And you've mentioned five great points already. So I would just add one more, even though I have so many on top of my head, that it also builds confidence. The minute you go out or you are somewhere and you're able to impact, influence, and persuade people in such a way that people, as you say, feel your essence, you feel more confident about yourself and
Right.
you feel confident enough to want to do it again. So some of the things that makes people not want to do it again is when they feel like, oh, I probably did a really bad job. So I can just imagine how that Indian woman felt and the review she will have got will
Mm,
probably not have wanted to encourage her to want to do it again. So next time if somebody
mm,
even says, oh, go on, she'll be like, nah, I think somebody else should do it. So obviously that's not a good enough reason because she's supposed to go and learn
mm.
and become better
Yeah.
and then come back again. But most times, when you do a good enough job, you're inspired and feel more confident to want to do even better the next
Mm,
time. So public speaking actually helps
right.
you to build your confidence skill. It increases your level of self-esteem. And that's one major
Right.
thing that holds people back, from speaking in public because of low self-esteem. So the more you show up,
Mm,
the more you're speaking in front of a crowd or in front of other people, and you're able to
mm-hmm.
hold attention, you will feel powerful as well. And that
Right.
is a great feeling to have. So there's this feeling that comes upon you that will just be like a rush, and you just be like addicted to it. I probably want to do it again.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and then the flip side of it is the fact that so many people suffer from what is known as glossophobia, which is the fear of
Mm,
public speaking. And when you tell them that, oh, you are the one going to go and deliver the speech on behalf of the MD, that person is going to be having sleepless nights up until the time they step on the stage. They've got sweaty palms. They're like they're just like perspiration is dropping down from their face in the most
mm,
chilled room because of the fact they're just like, oh my God.
yeah.
In fact, somebody that is not
Right.
a stammerer becomes a stammerer that day on stage because of the fact that they're like, hey,
Yes.
why
Oh
now?
dear.
Why? And then there's like, good morning, everybody, and then they want to say a joke and the
Away
joke
from
falls
being
flat,
fine.
all kinds of, and then they're like, hello, hello, can you hear me? Just doing all manners of crazy stuff to show how nervous they are. Can you share some tips that can help people to be able
Mm,
to ease their anxiety or this fear
right.
of public speaking? Because whether we like it or not, it is a real thing. And we're
Yes, it
laughing right
is.
now, but honestly, it's not a funny situation for the people that get on stage and they freeze because honestly, they are prepared. But the minute they're on stage, they forget everything they wanted to say. They cannot open their mouth to speak for their lives, and somehow they're just terrified. So, what can we share as tips to help them to be able to ease the
Mm.
anxiety and tension within them, be able to allow their vocal cords to open up and also their body to be relaxed enough to be able to deliver a great speech or presentation? Hello, have
So
we
I'll tell
lost
you
you?
this, it's my little secret. Anytime, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
So let me tell you my little secret. So this is a very anytime you are to speak to any audience, just believe that at that moment you are the star. Everybody's here to listen to me. First, feel good about that. In charge of this audience. I'm in charge of this stage. So feel good about that. Things I think, okay, so and this lady voiced this. Everybody's looking at her, so she's now wondering things. Excuse me, you know what you want to say on that stage. You do only God and you knows the message you want to come and place. Nobody in the room will listen to them about. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Go
Yeah.
at the session and say, and I wanted to say, don't feel bad. You've spoken for 15 minutes. You have delivered it. Simple. The audience have gone away with it. Stop crucifying yourself, saying I didn't see all I wanted. It's you that knows your message, and it's only God and you that knows the stage. People are content what you've given to them.
That's right.
They came to hear you speak. They came to hear you speak. So at that moment, you are the okay, and don't be too hard on yourself. Plan. Planning is key. Planning is it's not all the time we get to plan. Quite a number of times I have the opportunity to plan because now planning would mean people in the audience, what kind of message should I what is very important to me about this topic you don't have to share everything about this particular topic. You can pick two or three about a topic and just talk about it and talk about it freely. And so planning is important. Practice, practice. As old as I am, I still practice my speeches. I do. I still do that because the practice helps me understand how how my transitions will look like. Sometimes I notice that my transitions are not in order. I say this first before I say this. My thought flow and my idea flow me to get very good in my logical flow of thought. It helps me to audience from this height to this height, and not, so practice is very important. The use of body language in your speech will be very drabby. You will not be entertaining. That's talking since I'm sitting down here. You can see my hand. I'm shaking my head. I'm doing all. Body language accounts for, if of any speech, even more than the voice. It's the, yeah, it's accentuating. Saying somebody is powerful. I'm doing this. The audience may not even remember the did this, and he remembers you said something. Somebody was powerful. Language is absolutely important because also the emotion behind your words, and your words must have emotion. Emotion. I'm not putting body language. Then it's flat. They not even trust your message if you don't add body. This is body language. Your vocal variety. Engage with your audience. Absolutely necessary. And we are talking to them. I speaking training. We did a group. The guy that led a particular group was looking down throughout. He didn't even look at the audience. And when we did audience feedback, I asked him, sorry, is there anything that is faces scaring you? And it was so funny. That comment was so funny. And really, a good, his presentation was quite good. But we're not, so we could say your presentation, but not so great because you didn't look at us.
Mm-hmm.
Engaging of your audience is very important to
Very.
someone. They can't be looking up into the ground. No. Then this one tells stories. It's part of the things that make us so afraid of we're not sure of our message. So one thing I'll speak around topics that you're comfortable with, please. It's important. Build your confidence, okay? Talk about topics you are confident. Way you will not forget your lines. You know where it was. It's like somebody telling you, tell us about yourself. Is that no? You talk about yourself with so much about you can even yab yourself and be feeling cool about it. That you're comfortable with. I've been faced with who gives me a topic and says, come and talk to us about this. Sometimes sorry, I'm unable to do that. I'm not very good with this. I'm not really tweak it a bit. Can I take a particular topic in a way that I'll be more it's okay to also make those options really so that you're comfortable. Tell stories. Storytelling is one key competence. Storytelling. My dear, you can tell stories about how you moved from your house to your office. You can tell stories, look for relevant stories, experiences that relate and share that freely. It helps you to become more comfortable. A message, and you are not afraid because this is me. I'm talking about something I know. So storytelling is very familiar with your message as well. In your planning, be familiar with the people are even afraid because they're not familiar with the message, with the topic. And so they're really afraid to step out. God help you. Someone in the audience raises their hands to ask you a question about you don't even know anything about. You want to run off the stage. So look for places and practice, like I said. Look for a place where you can practice speaking often, over and over again. To speak, look for subject matters that you're comfortable with, something you do every day. Find an audience somewhere, seek opportunities to even speak. Even if you're not paid to speak, find opportunities. Someone to talk to a group of children, maybe eating habits or becoming responsible. My dear, just register and speak to them. That's how you also grow. Madame Merola saying you learn. That's it. You learn to speak. By speaking, creating those opportunities for yourself. You just have to find it. Please, and I know that in church you won't talk or something and push your kids to go and be the opportunities in your places of
Mm-hmm.
worship seem to be to even learn how to speak in public already, and they have taught it to speak about. So look for opportunity. So in my summary, is exercise body language to the audience, tell stories, comfort zone, tell stories where when you know your audience, you can tailor your message. And my dears, everybody, a man, a woman, a boy, a girl, everybody, your fear of public speaking. It's important. Fear. You have to face it. It means what I mean by facing it. Fear of public speaking right now, and I'm going to speak to that audience. That's how it all starts. First attempt to try it, nobody. Wow. Okay. This is beautiful. Next time you're out there, like, whoa, what a great speech. You're like, a second time. That is the feel for the jacket. So don't ever decide if you're not paid for it. That's the place of public speaking and grow. That's what it is. All right, over to you, Madame Merola.
Thank you, Titi. Well done. So many great points you gave us there. I will share my trick that I do, right? Because even if you're a seasoned speaker, there's still some times that you're going to feel some nervous energy. And what I do is I
Mm,
always seek to convert my nervous energy into positive energy. So where you see like, boxers and stuff where they're like jumping up and down and stuff and psyching themselves up, I speak affirmations to myself, right? So I'm the kind of person that I'm
mm,
very upbeat. So once I start to see that I'm feeling a bit nervous, I start to maybe like do some moves or whatever to say, come on now, you are just going there to slam those people that they are going to be like, oh my God, you're just going to blow them off the water. So the minute I start saying all those things, right, I start to feel my physiology
mm,
increasing in high frequent energy. And that is what you do. You
mm.
convert that nervous energy into something much more positive, something you're able to contain. For some, it's about taking deep breaths, silencing the noises in their head to calm them down, to be able to think through. And then I always say that whatever works for you, you do. Because I'm someone
Correct.
that is a high tempo person, that moving around, saying something to
Mm,
myself and telling myself that, man, you are so badass. The minute you open your mouth, people are just going to be like flabbergasted and they're just going to be hooked onto every single word you're going to say. That works for me. It might not work for somebody else that is a bit
mm.
more insular and a bit calmer in
Right.
nature. So maybe doing the breathing
Mm,
techniques to calm themselves down and saying some simple things. Say, I am in charge. I am in
mm.
control. At a much more
Right.
serene level would help them to just feel better and more in control within themselves to be able to go and deliver what they want to say. And I always say that you need to observe the room you're in and
Oh,
then the
yes.
timing in which you've been given the opportunity to speak. Many of us know that
Mm-hmm.
you might be the unfortunate speaker to go last, and other people have overshot their time. And then maybe the
Yeah.
people have been sitting down for 4 hours, 5 hours, and they are so
Mm.
tired already. They're hungry, they're itching to get up, and then you are supposed to deliver a 40-minute speech. That is not the time for you to say, it's a lie. Oh, they invited me to speak for 40 minutes. I must speak for the
Yeah, you
40
must speak
minutes
by force.
by fire, by force. Trust me, what you're going to say, no matter how great it is going to fall on deaf ears. So I
Yes,
always
yes.
pick up on the mood in the room. And I will say that I don't know about you guys, right? Like all the other people that came here,
Mm.
they've said so much already. I'm like, do I need to say more? And I'm like, you're probably ready to go eat and stuff. And they're like, yes. And I'm like you too. I want to eat. So, you just kind of engage them, get them laughing
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And then that is the time where you need to be flexible. So you need to
Oh,
have an
yeah.
abbreviated version of your full presentation. I've seen too many people make this
Usually.
chronic mistake that they will say that,
Mm.
oh, my presentation was meant for 40 minutes, so I don't know how to shorten it.
Ah,
What is the key points that you want people to take away?
exactly.
If you need to only
It.
say something for 5 minutes, speak for that 5 minutes and let the people now be the one begging you to say, Ma, please don't go. I'm not tired again. Please continue. Rather than
Yes.
you speak
Yes.
to people that are not listening to you, I would prefer you
Mm.
say less, hit them with the key points, and tell them that
Right.
if you
Right.
want to hear more, you guys can speak to me. at the back,
That's it.
or
Yeah.
you can invite me to come to your event to come and speak. Because unfortunately,
That's it.
I can that is it. That is how you actually get people to say that, man, that lady was cool, man. She didn't come and kill us with over talk already. So sometimes I tell people lack
You
of
know,
observation will get you in trouble. Just because you're so gung-ho about delivering your speech, you forget that the audience gaining information and gaining impact from what you say is the most important thing. So it's
that
not about
is.
you,
That
it's
is.
about them. So
Mm,
even though you've been
that's
invited to
it.
come for 40 minutes and you know
Mm,
that the best thing for you to do is speak for only 5 to 10 minutes, give them the best of you in that 5 to 10 minutes,
that's it.
drop the mic and let them give you a standing ovation to say, God bless you. I want to hear you speak again. They'll go on and on and on, and then they're doing prayers inside them to say,
Lord.
Lord, get this woman off stage. I am dying. I need to go and eat or go to the toilet or something. And she's just going on and on and on.
Oh my God.
So I think it's
In
so
fact,
cute.
for me, I've had to change a lot of my content. Like, okay, all right, we have 5 minutes. Right, and okay, guys, let's talk about this. What do you think? Being the honest is very important. If you get that skill right, you can even get those butterflies out of your tummy by engaging, ask a question. Let's start with that. Let them start answering your questions. So more confidence. You're getting that confidence, getting some content, in fact, because they're telling you certain things. You
Absolutely.
instead,
Yeah.
and let that be your anchor for the first 5. There's so many techniques, anyways. But I
So
love the
many,
fact that you
but
mentioned that
it's just
some
so
people are so
important to feed off the atmosphere of the room, because you know sometimes like when the room is already so quiet, right? And I say this to most of my clients that tend to be very, very introverted and very calm. You know, the people that
right.
when they talk, they have this very slow, soothing way of talking. So they're like,
Mm.
and then the power of public speaking is just good. And I'll be like, sister, if you use that kind of tone at that time when people are tired, as
Oh
lovely
my
as you
God.
sound, you're just going to lure them into sleep further. But someone like me
Lullaby.
with my crazy high energy, I'm like, what's going on here, people? Are we still excited? Do we still want to learn? Or should I just go? Because I'm still going to get paid anyway. You know, you just get them laughing and stuff. I just say, sir, please
Mm.
just share with me. What have you learned so far? As in, I missed the beginning, so I just even want to learn from you. You know, by the time you even engage
Right,
them,
right.
they'll wake up because they'll be like, okay,
That's it.
this is interesting and stuff. And also not hearing the same voice over and over again for a long period of time. You get
Mm.
set
Yeah,
in their entire
absolutely.
physiology and in their mind as well. But it's just crazy that
Mm.
there's so many elements to public speaking, but many people are not willing to
Right.
invest in learning it. And that's why I want to encourage anybody out here that is watching us right now. Public speaking is not something that we came from heaven with, right? Some of
Mm-mm.
us have natural giftings, but we learn and unlearn every single day. And nobody can say they've learned it all. We keep on learning new things. Titi and I are
Mm-mm.
still learning new things, even though we are
That's
actually trainers. We teach people how to speak, but yet we are still learning because we don't want to
mm-hmm.
keep the same thing over and over again. We
Oh
want to be
yes. Oh
dynamic.
yeah.
So please invest in the art of learning. No matter how masterful you
Mm.
think you are, don't be too arrogant to think you cannot learn from somebody else. Titi is having a
Mm.
program coming up. So Titi, just share with them briefly your program that is coming up
Okay.
about the public speaking thing. So in
So
case anybody
August
wants to
12th,
attend.
August 12th to 14. All right. So there's a program, public speaking and technical present. It's been organized by A Plus. That's my company. August 12th to 14. It's a hybrid training. So we have those that are joining online present in that's from 12 to 14. And we're subscribed anyway. I have presentation skills. Besides just speaking to an audience, most of the is to put up a presentation. And that itself too requires, you see those that when they, like, God Almighty, this person. So PowerPoint itself, and I for one, almost everywhere I've to put up PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, I've lost your feed for a little bit. Hello, Titi.
Hello, Madame
Okay, I can hear you now. I lost your feed for a little bit. Okay.
Hello, Madame.
Can you hear me?
So it's technical presentation, and I'll just explain you why technical, because also in your career presentations through PowerPoint. There are other presentation software, but PowerPoint is very popular around. It comes with Microsoft anyway. Setting up a presentation like that, you need to understand design and also understand. Some of us may have heard the slogan "Death by PowerPoint." Go and Google it. Death by PowerPoint. Posted by PowerPoint. So
Mm-hmm.
two things, those we put the two: public speaking, yeah, presentation. That's what this training is, and it's amazing, really. This is our third one that's passed through this has loved. I think the last person who said, that part I've been speaking, but I don't understand. So we've merged both, a bit of elocution as well, addition, for the 3 days, every day from the 14th of August. I look forward to it. Each time these sessions are coming, like, yay, I can't wait to do it. And we as well. One of them is a coach, and the second is a two-time champion public speaking. So we're going to be people that have in public speaking. To see some of us here in.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Titi. So, as you can see, there's so many different areas in which you can choose to invest in for you to learn not just about speaking, but also the art of presenting. You can also reach out to me. You know
Yeah.
that I teach Speak Like a Bang and I work with you one on one if you want, or in a group. You can invite me to come to your office or your company to come and give a presentation or a workshop for your staff. So, we're
Mm.
going to ask some personal questions and then we're going to end the show because we're already 7 minutes past the hour. So you guys can reach out to Titi Ojo on Instagram by typing Titi Ojo underscore and you will find her name. I think it will show Titi Ojo Elat. Am I correct?
Just
So
Titi Ojo underscore.
yes, that's what I said, Titi Ojo underscore, and then you should be able to. I think it's Elat or something. Yeah, I got it.
So
Titi
I
Ojo
think
underscore.
I can see a lot. So
Yes, I've
a
sent it.
lot Ojo.
Mm-hmm.
My nickname was a
Elat.
lot. All
Yes, I know.
so
So you can reach
I
out to
do.
her on Instagram as Titi Ojo, and you can also on Facebook, Titi Ojo, and send her a message, private message, and you can also find her on LinkedIn. Okay, so Titi, what is your favorite color?
Do you know? When I was much younger, I loved pop. Purple was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The nude colors are coming up and different shades as well.
Is
I
that
don't
right?
have much of purple in all. Can you imagine? I keep saying much of purple at all. I in my wardrobe and green to my purple. Purple is royal. Feels to me,
Mm.
even though it might not time, but that still remains my.
Awesome. So, if you were to have a legacy statement that you want people to remember you by and inscribe it on your tombstone, what would it be?
Oh my God, there's a statement I have used from, and I am the change, and that is important. Be the change. And anywhere I found myself, I things to be done better. I better so that I lay that foundation and I leave that foot to begin to make things better. So for me, I am a change agent. I am the change that I seek. Word, that's my legacy statement.
Fantastic.
I am the change.
Okay. So, final question. If you were to travel back in time to 10 years ago, 10 years ago, what
Mm.
message will you give to your 10 years younger version of yourself?
Woo, serious. So that would be, I think I've been seeking opportunity. See what I would have told myself. Deliberate about networking. More deliberate about networking. That be more deliberate about, and I mean not just not networking. Deliberate about some kind of network myself. I think I started a career, but it's all right. I go back that then back way. Be deliberate about networking. Net worth. It's absolutely necessary. Yeah, that would
Fantastic.
be my 35-year-old self.
I'm trying to think. I still have so many questions, and I'm thinking, okay, I said that was the last one. Okay, so permit me to ask you two more.
It's all right. I'm here. Okay, I think I've lost.
Okay, sorry, look, network connection. I said if you were to write a new
Okay.
book, what would the title be?
Now I don't have a title. That nothing in my mind. The book will be. It will be about I've learned through life lessons. Really, what I want to write. Usual life lessons from some unusual experience. And they will be simple, but I want to bring out lessons that are life. So, yeah, I've had so many topics. I don't have one yet in my mind to write about my own story. And it will be stories that life, that will be it. But I'm going to be about picking out lessons, specific things. Life.
Okay, so can you still hear me though, Titi?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so thank you so much for
Yeah.
answering those questions. We've come to the end of the show now. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for season 4, episode 44 of Live a Phenomenal Life show with Madame Merola. That is me and my special guest for today, Titi Ojo, where we've been talking about the
Yeah.
power of public speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to tell you that you have the wherewithal to be a phenomenal speaker if only you choose to nurture the talent that God has given you and then keep building on it. And the only way you can become a better public speaker is by speaking. So make sure you keep speaking, make sure you keep doing whatever it is that fills you with passion, and make sure you keep showing up, talking about the things you're passionate about, spreading
Mm,
your message so that people can feel the pulse of what exactly you love. So that is why we're
right.
here today to ensure that those of you that have been fearing how you sound or look when you're out there speaking, trust me, you can get better at it and you can become someone that will be so
Mm,
proficient at it that all kinds of doors will be open up to you in every part of the world to speak
yeah.
if you keep working at it. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, please type them in the comment box. We'll be able to see it and I will answer them after the show. And above all, don't forget that you are a band, beautiful and bold, audacious, no excuses, God's masterpiece. There is nothing missing in you, nothing broken. You are equal to all, inferior to none. Go out there and smash your goals. Show up in the world confidently, believing in yourself
Mm.
that you have what it takes to make it in life, and you will be a resounding success. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Until next week, when I'll be back again, keep being you and do you 100% unapologetically. Lots of love and greetings from Titi and I. Till next time, take care and bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Bye, everybody.